Welcome back at WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. He is Luke. I am Nestor. We're out on Facebook Live and YouTube tonight doing something that, I guess I thought about this about 6 months ago when the Orioles went in the tank. I've been doing this a long time, dude. If they're going to lose 100 games the next 5 years, what are some things we can do?
Hope it's not that long.
All right. Well,
3 years. If it's beyond that, anyway.
Oh, you're going to be upset? It's the fourth. So I want to hear the bar. The bar is...
You'll just have to keep bribing me.
22, in 2022, some point in June, they need to be a 500 team.
They have to be showing progress. I don't think it's going to be 3 straight 100-loss seasons and then all of a sudden they're good. Hopefully it's 100. Well, hopefully it's not 100, but 100, 95, 89.
I know.
And then maybe 500 and off they go.
Well, if you're watching on Facebook Live or on our YouTube WNS TV channel, you can see, and I want to make sure I get the camera right here because I've got carpet. The studio's not built for this, but we're going to do it tonight anyway and make sure. I'm going to use the camera. This is one box of, I got 4 of them. One of them is mainly sort of resume stories I wrote. My walls here were always adorned with the rock and roll pictures and stuff. So a lot of stuff's a little picked through with some ticket stubs missing and backstage passes missing. I've unassembled some of the stuff that was on the walls at the radio station. Some stuff like this never made the wall. So that's a 1978 Colts. And it's interesting because it has autographs on the back.
Couple autographs, yeah.
This was an autograph. I got this at the Our Lady of Fatima sports night.
Okay.
And this guy played for the Chiefs. I'm not sure it was, but he was a Chiefs player. But you get this stuff that's signed. And, of course, this is here. This is my other Nestor Shylock autograph. So it says here, be a good sport to Nestor Shylock. And Nestor Shylock was from Pennsylvania. So my dad was from Pennsylvania. So, and you're not from. You're from Pennsylvania.
I live in Pennsylvania.
You're sort of Pennsylvania.
Born in Baltimore.
So this is a pile of Black Crowes, rock and roll stuff. Literally a Jimmy Buffett parrot head book. All sorts of stuff is in here. This is a Cars tour book from back in the 1980s, a Bruce Springsteen tunnel. So it's all of this stuff, and some of it probably has a lot of But the real thing that I wanted to show you for a lot of fun tonight would be all of these press passes. I want to have you hold some of this stuff.
Okay.
Roll through some of it. Because these are all rock concert tickets. So
I'm going to make you feel old and tell you how old I was when all of these things took place. How's that sound?
Yeah, but I figured some of it would be sort of heirloomy if we find the right stuff.
Sure.
And I haven't gone through all of it, but some of it has been put together. So, all of my Preakness stuff, if you're a Preakness person, it's all in here. So you can literally grab bag out of here, and there's a Derby Day ticket from 2005. That's a Kentucky Derby, right? So this is when my wife and I went to the Kentucky Derby. So this is just stuff sitting in here. This is all horse racing. So I did do a little bit of paring down. And I know you're into the baseball side of things. I think this is a baseball envelope here. Yeah, pretty sure that's a baseball envelope. So you can have it. This here, as you can see, do you know what this yellow bag represents? This is what newspapers came in on wet days when they threw it to your house. So I
remember newspapers
for my. So here's a fun one. I put this out on the internet today. I found this because it's kind of big in a bag. I'm gonna empty the whole bag out. I'm gonna get the box out. I wanted to get the baseball stuff out for you. I got the rock and roll stuff. This is all the hockey stuff. So if anybody wants hockey, yell at me on Facebook. I'm going to check the Facebook Live. If you're out there, I'm going to share everything in a minute so people can have some fun. I'm sure this is going to get on the radio at some point. It won't make a whole lot of sense on the radio, but that's okay. These are all Caps passes, and there's 30 years worth of Caps passes here. And a lot of stuff is screwed up and mixed in that I haven't touched. So these are all NFL tickets. And they're going to be more modern era. There's Jamal Lewis as a Cleveland Brown, and he probably 2008, November 8th.
2008.
Did we lose that game? That was Harbaugh's first year.
No, they won that game.
We beat them. That was the day that Obama and Bruce Springsteen were in the square in Cleveland afterward for about 500,000 people. Free concert with Springsteen. And Springsteen was singing the If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. I'd hammer in the evening. So he was doing all that. So anyway, these are all tickets that I have here and stories to be told. But my favorite story probably was in another box because I thought I had this stuff. Because this is here, you handle the show for a second, and I got a whole other box.
I don't know
here.
about. I'm waiting to hear the stories from you.
No. This is where I wanted to really get crazy. Here, put these on camera. You'll have fun with these. Everybody knows what those are, right?
I believe these are newspapers. They are a relic.
They don't crack. That's from Free the Birds. That top one. That's kind of more new.
Okay.
Now, this would be a new one. So this is 13 years old
September
already.
22nd, so it'll be the 21st.
And you can see what the front of the sports section looked like that day, where we did the walkout. Let me get that. It's on this side. Okay, make sure I get the sides right. So this is from 2006, but some of this stuff is from the era of me working at the Evening Sun. This is one of these pieces
1986?
This is 1986. This was an airbrushed artwork piece. And these artwork pieces that we would put on the front page of the Sun, this was like a legitimate artist, like Sig's era, doing the guy that did this, Jeff Dauber. I remembered him well. I was going to say his name, but it's there. Jeff was like an airbrush dude, like in Ocean City. This was an airbrushed piece of art. I mean, look at the work on I want to make sure I got to get the camera angle right, but look at the work, and that's from April the 7th, 1986. Jim Henneman on the call there. Jack Luskin on the back. Hey, anybody sees Len Weinstein, let him know that I'm still the cheapest guy in town and that the big screen store should be advertising. There's Jack Luskin. There he is, cheapest guy in town. See that? But this is 1986. Cooper on Blast Series with Force, way that it was meant to be. Kenny Cooper on the front page of the Blast, 1986. So that's Alan. Is that Alan Wiggins? Oh, my. That's Alan Wiggins, 1986. Yeah. Look at that. Alan, look at that. So who's on the team there? I see Fred Lynn, a young Ripken. Who's that dude?
I can't
see. That's T-Bone Shelby. That is Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray.
That's Mike Flanagan.
Dempsey.
That's Dempsey. Who was the third baseman? Who was that?
Third baseman.
Who the hell is Jackie Gutierrez? Wow. And that's Lee Lacy.
Kind of shows. I mean, it was quite a crew post Brooks, post the
33rd Street, man. The Evening Sun, and I think I did the agate page for this. Kevin Cowherd, sports writer Kevin Cowherd. Anybody knows Kevin Cowherd? Tell him you saw his, let's see, who was the new kid on the block that year? John Stafaro. Is he still selling cars? New kid on the block. Glenn Burney Stafaro among 6 unfamiliar faces on the Orioles roster. You see that there, Ken Murray? Did you ever know Ken Murray?
Yeah.
So you knew Ken?
Yeah, he was on his way out as I was on my way in.
So some of the stuff we're going to look at here tonight is Ken Murray and John Stedman covered the NFL, and I found something that Ken Murray gave me, and I had to remember who gave me this because it wasn't. Most of these are my press passes. When they're not, I'm happy to tell you like that they have Stedman's name, or if they didn't have a name. A lot of guys would give me their press passes because they knew I liked collecting stuff back in the day. I haven't collected most of this. The last 20 years of my radio career, this stuff's just gone into into a box, and I've literally never looked at it.
Right.
This is a Chiefs working press credential from 1986. I can almost promise you that's Stedman or Ken Murray because we worked together, and they would come back and hand me an envelope of their press passes. Here's my Skipjacks 1985-86 season credential. And that's when, and I know Gene Ubriaco would appreciate that, signed by the great Walter Bud Freeman there. So I've got all this stuff. Ken Murray gave me this one, though. I remembered he covered an Oiler game. And I was an Oiler.
That's a big deal for you, right?
This was a big deal. Redskins Oilers press box, September 15th, 1985. My son was a year old. So I have all this stuff. And I figured it would be fun to, pull it out.
Well, you see what this is, right?
Oh.
ALCS preview. Look at the date for that.
The date on this.
2 days.
Dude, what are the
that
odds
paper
of that?
came out, I was 2 days old.
When you tell me when your
birthday
birthday
I tell people all the time, if you're trying to get some context for how long it's been since the Orioles last won the World Series, look at me. I am a mid-30s grown man.
Grown-ass man.
Was 2 weeks old when the Orioles last won the World Series. So, but there you go. October 4th, I was born October 2nd.
Luke Jones was born in 1983.
Last Sunday of the regular season.
It says right here, 1983 was a wonderful year for the O's. A wonderful year for the O's.
And it's been all downhill since.
Wow, who are the sports writers at the Sun? Lou Hatter with the lead story in this one. Storm Davis and Denny Martinez. Todd's Discount Appliance. I'd never heard of it before. Must have been one of the Luskin sons. Let's see here. There's a lot of businesses here, man. Oh, look, all the autographs of the Orioles in the paper. It's probably why I kept it when I was a kid. Look at that. They would put the autographs. There's Cal Ripken Jr., very early Cal Ripken Jr. autograph there. Jimmy Williams, Mike Flanagan, my man. By the way, Mike Flanagan, I put the picture up today. Did you see the Cuba?
I saw that.
The Cuba picture. The Cuba picture sits on my wall. If I can spin the camera, you'll see.
I went to the second game.
That's my Cuba poster up on the wall, and that's always on the wall. And that's my Pizza John's beer stein. And tonight's programming is brought to you by Pizza John's. Luke, tell me what you had for dinner.
I had delicious pepperoni pizza from Pizza John's. My favorite. It's the way you got me to come down here, right?
If I found the newspaper with October the 2nd, 1983 on it, like if I give this to you and you take it to your mother, will it mean something to her? Will she dig it or not?
I think she would think it's neat, yeah.
Yeah, Susan Reimer with a headline here in the Sun. So Susan's still my Facebook friend. Hey, Susan, how are you? Hope you're doing well. She was a real trailblazer and female sports writers back in the day. By the way, in the old 1986 Baltimore Sun, I put this page together. I had only worked there 3 months. So this was an early. I promise you, I fought with more union printers about every line of this type in here and about how the standing squared off. Again, these little logos, here, let me show you this. I did these logos, and I was so effing proud of myself. And I know the stats are wrong, and if Jack Gibbons is watching, you know the lottery numbers are wrong. But you see these little logos and those little SIGs? I was the one that went and made the art department do them because I thought they looked so friggin' cool on the newspaper. And here was my dad's proudest moment, right? My dad, my dad loved John Stedman. These are my dad's newspapers. Just so you know, my dad collected them, gave them to me because we read newspapers, and that's why I went into the newspaper business. But this made my dad the most proud of anything in the world, right there. There's a picture of Cal Ripken too. Look, I may have done that on purpose and put that up there, or Bob Nussgart did that for me, so that my name would be in the Evening Sun, and my dad could get the paper at night. And my name was in the paper.
Very cool.
You don't think that was the coolest thing in the world? And there's Mike Flanagan right there, who, by the way, is going to be a recurring theme here, and it's going to be accidental. None of this is staged like a magician, but the Mike Flanagan theme comes back because he's with us tonight in the Cuba poster. That was Mike Flanagan's house. And Kevin Cowherd's with us, too, and he looked funny, and you can let him know that I said so. And we used to drink beer at Burke's out of glasses, just like this one. At Pizza John's. All right, what do you got over there, Luke? You got the potluck newspaper for 100.
Yeah.
Snow Chief, he's one rich colt, says Jack Mann, who was a legend.
There we go. Orioles clinching the 1979 AL East, going to the playoffs.
They're out on the field spelling out the Orioles. They came out of the dugout in their street clothes. Show that picture. Doug DeCinces has his hair all slicked back, and he looks like he's going to Studio 54. If you look at DeCinces in this picture here, he looks like... Anybody that knows anything about the Orioles should remember this picture. If you remember, there it is. It's all over for the 6th time in the last 11 years. The Baltimore Orioles are the champions of the American League East. Dated, by the way, October 3rd, 1979. There you go.
So 4 years before I was born.
I met Kevin Eck a month before that, and all we ever dreamed of doing was doing this for a living. Ken Nigro with the lead story. And there's the Demper. And by the way, look at who was in the background of that picture. You want a little ghost? Let me put that up. Let me put that up. So there's Rick Dempsey, as I promised, and there's DeCinces in street clothes because he was no doubt going to Christopher's probably or the Flaming Pit, one of those places. Rick Dempsey was going to be singing old time rock and roll with Paper Cup and Atlanta Shore, and lo and behold, there he is in the middle of everything and coming to a warehouse near you. Look who was on the field that night, and we never thought about it. That is Frank Robinson.
There you go.
And he's standing next to the Rabbit Ray Miller, who's standing next to Jim Fry. And there you have it. And that's not, it looks like a young Rick Vaughn, but I'm not sure. I don't know if Rick Vaughn was there then. So this is 1979 Orioles, 86 Orioles. What else you got over there? I told you the Free the Birds thing was like the last newspaper section I think I have in my whole collection. So what do you got?
Here's the 1980, looks like the preview section.
Well, 80 was special, right, because we lost in 79. So there was a lot of promise for the 1980 Orioles. And as you can see, Palmer, who's the greatest Oriole there ever was, Palmer enters the 80s. Let me read you the quote here. When you're young, you want to be a star. But when you become a star, you begin to understand that even more difficult is staying at that level. And you wonder why Cakes got into the business. Look at Peter Pasquarelli with a story that's 30 inches a copy on the front page and a cartoon here. Do I have a cartoon name? Graphic by? I want to make sure I'm crediting the right people. This was a very, very special newspaper. This was the Baltimore News American 1980 special. Look at these ads in here. How much was a car back then? I'm not sure. They had a Blue Cross Blue Shield card. Pat Kelly. Pat Kelly was the only Oriole player in 1979 to throw me a baseball out in left field. I told you I went to 31 straight games before they lost.
I remember you saying that. Right.
Summer 79, I went to 31 straight Orioles games. Some of the tickets are around here. And here we go. This is from 1980. Something magic happens every time you go. Are any of these businesses still open? Brought to you by Joe Schlitz Brewing Company. Crown Central Petroleum, who are my sponsors. The Maryland State Lottery, who's never given WNST anything. Albin Lift Truck, Equitable Trust Bank, White Coffee Pot Jr., underwriting the Orioles. Thank God for that. So there you have it. 1980 Orioles segment here, News American. I bet there's some great writers in this section. You ready for that? Peter Pasquarelli went on to be, there you go. Look at this. Cover story by my man, John F. Stedman, April 14th, 1980. In the Baltimore News American, known as the News Post over on the East Side, there's John Stedman writing a story about Wild Bill Hagee and how that notoriety caught him by surprise over on the East Side. There you have it, 1980, Wild Bill Hagee. Who knew? 1980 Orioles TV schedule was only like 25 games because they weren't on TV much. Manor Shop Menswear in Dundalk. I bought jeans there.
There you go.
Yeah, Merritt Boulevard, baby. I want to find an ad with Wild Bill Hagee wearing like the cowboy hat or something like that. Something cool that he's involved in. Peter Pasquarelli. I'm just trying to see if there's any other beat writers because the News American always had great writers. This was
There's Terry Pluto.
Terry Pluto, who's a...
This is the playoff special, 1979. Looks like a story on Flanagan.
This is an Evening Sun. So I'm going to be really honest with you, okay? And this is going to hurt Phil Jackman's feelings. It might even hurt... It may hurt my own legacy, but I'm going to make an admission here, okay? We never read the Evening Sun in my house until I worked there. So in 1986, my dad became a subscriber because the News American went out of business that year. But my dad would always we get the Morning Sun, which I can tell you the difference even 30 years later. This is the Morning Sun because I can see the font, right? And I can see that's the Evening Sun. Yeah, because I can see the font. Or that probably was it was earlier. This is in the 70s, so it's before my time. So the font was probably similar with the evening and the morning.
Okay.
And I wanted that for the black boxes. I want to show you the black boxes because that's a part of my youth. But we never read the Evening Sun. So the fact that I have an Evening Sun 1979 special, it means my dad bought it for this.
Sure.
Because we never got the Evening Sun. I promise you. We read the News American. Even though that's going to hurt Phil Jackman's feeling because Phil Jackman had bird fever, and love was spelled O-R-I-O-L-E-S. Magic, 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 magic. Something magic happens. And when something magic happens, you know who keeps coming up, just incidentally? Mike Flanagan on the cover. Improving on family tradition. That should be on my friggin' wall. Terry Pluto wrote that piece on Flanny. Wow. You know, when I get Pluto on and he owes me a call, Pluto, I'm coming for you. Loose balls and all. And you know what I'm talking about. You can Google that. So Pluto did a story on Flanagan. So he knew Flanagan. I didn't know he knew Flanagan. So
Okay.
now that I knew he covered the Orioles, and I didn't know it was 79. Ken Singleton, MVP. You bet your ass he's an MVP because he always returns my phone calls and he's a good man. Bill Tanton doing the lead. Look at this. The section was so thick that it had to have an index, like where you find it. Right there. That was the whole Weaver. Look at that. We have Weaver. Stargell. There was a whole page on Stargell. I'm going to rip that one out. Phil Jackman, Terry Pluto, more Phil Jackman. Phil was doing some writing back. Phil always told me he worked hard at one point, and I believed him. I love you, Phil. Let's see. Baseball Strange Season, a story on Dave Skaggs, Allegheny Airlines, and Bernie and Henry's. Bernie and Henry's said, "Go, Orioles, go." The Brentwood Inn doing some sponsorship. Well done. Oh, look at this. Somebody one-upped. If anybody knows Mitchell Konevsky, Mitchell Konevsky was an 8th grader at Pikesville Junior High in 1979, which is a year older than me. I was a 7th grader. So he's my age. Mitch, if you're out there, I've got the clip with saying that you were a better fan than Wild Bill. It says here, Wild Bill has nothing on Mitch. So that's the son. This was see that Willie Stargell piece was a wire piece. Bucksfield Stargell is MVP caliber. You know what? They were right. We are family. I got all my sisters. See, I can afford.
Just don't mention the whistle.
40 years later, I went to dinner with Bert Blyleven one night, and he annihilated me. All he did was twist his ring. He brought his ring. And he spent the whole. We went to not Amici's in Little Italy. We went to Sabatino's in Little Italy. And Bert Blyleven spent 90 minutes telling me how the Pirates beat the Orioles as though I didn't remember it. Bert Blyleven, you're a Hall of Famer, Bert Blyleven. Let me tell you that. Whitey Herzog, who was one of the protagonists in my favorite book, Seasons in Hell, he has shown up. There you go. There's Whitey after a long, long season. And, of course, Whitey would go on to win the World Series the next year. So, God bless Whitey. Young Jim Palmer in here. 1979 American League standings. Jim Rice was awesome. Eddie Murray was more awesome. What do we got? Anything else?
Mark Belanger, 81.
By the way, if you love Mark Belanger, did you hear my Blade piece with the kid from Pittsfield, Massachusetts that did a Mark Belanger movie?
I did not.
There is a Mark Belanger movie. You can find it. You can find the piece up at WNST.net, or you can go to the buyatoyota.com audio vault. It's there. It's probably on my Facebook as well. It's at the website Belanger Film, and it was directed by Dominic Dastoli.
Okay. And
I had him on for about 30 minutes. Mark Belanger was the best athlete in the history of Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Much like, from Dundalk, I would say, Mike Bilecki or JP.
Okay.
We've had some great athletes from my hometown. But Mark Belanger was that guy, and he died, obviously, cancer, was very involved. He was a heavy smoker, was very involved with the Players Association at this time, player rep, the whole deal. And this young man did a movie about him. Look at this. John Stedman, in 1981, right before the strike, writing a piece entitled "A Second Honeymoon for the City and the Orioles." And that's dated Thursday, April 9, 1981, with my man Steady. Look at Steady on the phone. Look at how badass Steady was. Anyway, I'm geezing here. We haven't even gotten to the tickets yet, but I wanted to really have a go at this because I figured you'd have some fun looking through some of this stuff.
83 World Series preview. Bill Glauber wrote.
How close to your birthday? The date of your birthday?
That was 9 days. This came out 9 days after I was born.
We saw Glauber's brother a couple weeks ago. Any other good? This was one of my favorite sections.
President of the PFWA.
Bob Nussgart was so proud of this section. Bob, I know you're out there. Gene Sweeney taking pictures as well. This was the puzzle. You get it? You get the puzzle? The puzzle of the 1986 Orioles. And it was a pitching puzzle for Earl Weaver, who tries to put his staff together again. Now, remember, this is when Earl came out of retirement. This is when Earl came back. And once again...
He shouldn't have, but yes.
If you want to know the history of Baltimore sports and the history of WNST, you can't write it without that guy. That was my guy there, Mike Flanagan. There he is on the cover. There's a Boddicker stretching it out there, too. Look at Bods. Look at that. So the 86 Orioles and the pitching. I don't know we go through this, dude. This was 86 Orioles. Whew, right? That wasn't a very good one.
There's no.
You know what they were doing in 1986 in regard to the Orioles? They were throwing back to the 66 Orioles. They were, hey, 20th anniversary. Look at that. That's what we want to talk about.
Just like we're going to hear about the 30th anniversary of the Why Not season.
I always thought it sucked that the infamous picture, the famous, incredible picture that of Brooks and McNally and Etchebarren and Brooks jumping into the arms and all that. I'm wondering.
Looks like he leaped like 12 feet into the air.
Yeah, it's the angle. Because Brooks he would always say, I could never jump that high.
Yeah.
But where's Aparicio in that picture? I was looking for little Louie, and I could never find him. And I've even looked at the video to try to figure out what the hell happened to him and how he didn't wind up in the picture. So, I mean, that was just, the Aparicio ego talking when
we
I was
have
9
something
years old.
non-Orioles.
Go ahead.
And I'm not anti-Orioles, but
okay, go ahead.
Day after the Terps' miraculous comeback at Miami.
I kept the good ones, right? I kept the ones that I knew. You know what I thought?
Bobby Ross being carried off the field. Pretty cool.
In 1984, I was probably arrogant enough to think that one day, I would own a radio station and a video and be able to show this to someone. And it says page 11 on it, which probably means I have a byline on page 11 in that section.
Let's see.
It's possible. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at Lightbridge Health Sports Medicine Institute at Foundry Row. If I had my stand, the man stays. We'll get to the wrestling segment later. I got the wrestling stuff for you. Luke is here. We're going through my bag of swag. I'm having fun. If you're checking it out on Facebook Live and YouTube on our WNS TV channel, I hope you're having fun with it. I'm going to put it out on YouTube. I haven't shared to my YouTube yet, but I promise to do that. And I will get all that out. And we probably have like people coming in and being crazy and asking questions, and I haven't had a chance to even look up on the screen. Everybody's bringing back great memories. Show us the hockey stuff, Nestor. Show the U2 counterfeit tickets we bought at U2 at this. Hells, for you, because you ask, he wants the U2, and because I'm organized, sort of, maybe a little bit, I found my bullfight tickets from Madrid, but I can't find my U2 tickets. Hells, I will find the U2 counterfeit tickets. I will have them momentarily. I'm to the use. I have it, Hells. Hold on, I have it. This was a fake ticket that my dear friend John Keller, who now runs the Clinton Library down there in Little Rock, and he listens every day, and he comes on every day. These are all of my U2 tickets. So while we're doing U2, if you guys want to see U2 tickets, let's see what we got here. U2 Vertigo at the Pavilion in San Jose with my wife. We were much younger, 2005. U2 at the Baltimore Arena. Luke's reading the paper. He ain't
I'm reading your article.
U2
Baltimore County Field Hockey playoffs.
Robin Stepner, I love you. I just want to say hello. U2 at the First Union Center, June 11, 2001. How's this was a real ticket. I paid for this when I took my son. It was an unbelievable seat. It was in the third row, and it was right on the side of the stage. And I came this close to high-fiving. I mean, Bono was right there. That was a great night. U2 at Scott Stadium at the University of Virginia in the round. I took my wife on this romantic limousine date. And we went down and we drank the whole way. We rocked the whole way. We got in the limo at 11:02 when the show ended, and we woke up at 3 o'clock and we were home. That was a great night. That was one of the great nights of my life. I got the ticket, though, Hells. Hold on, I'm coming. U2 at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee in 2001. I got all sorts. U2 in, let's see here, Morumbi Stadium in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 2006 on the Vertigo Tour. I'll find it. U2 Electric Factory at the Spectrum. That wasn't it, Hells. That's not the fake ticket. This is a real ticket. I can feel it. This is Ticketron. This was not a fake. You could always feel the fake ticket. I found the fake ticket. No, I didn't find the fake ticket. This is U2 with Michelle Jackman, who did the show. I'm going to bring this tomorrow night. Michelle Jackman is now, Phil Jackman's daughter, is now the president.
Phil Jackman right here. Even a picture of him.
She's now the president of the National Kidney Foundation. And this is a group that, Dick Cass saved a man's life with his kidney. They are having their biggest event of the year tomorrow night, Sante. Go to nationalkidneyfoundation.org and learn more. I bought tickets on Ticketmaster when the U2 Joshua Tree tour went on sale on the 800 Ticketmaster number, and they mailed me the tickets. And the tickets were in row G, dead center at the Meadowlands in 1987. And Lone Justice opened the show. and that's from 1987, and that was the first time I saw U2.
Very
That's
cool.
the first. Well, I saw him at like a Live Aid experience and whatnot. I do have the fake ticket. I'm going to find the fake ticket. Here's the fake ticket. This is the fake ticket. I found the fake ticket. And you can see that it's a fake ticket because all the ink rubbed off of it. Can you see? Does that look like a fake ticket to you, Luke, if you're looking at it? Does it look fake?
If I look at it quickly,
look
maybe
at it,
not, but
look
yeah.
at how fake does that.
Now it's
see
looking,
the U2 in there?
It's suspicious, yeah.
This was a completely fake ticket. And I knew when I bought it that it was a fake ticket.
But it
and I
worked?
could feel it because it doesn't feel right. It feels slimy. And I said to Hells, this isn't barcode. This is 1992. It's 27 years ago. And listen, Bono, I didn't rip you off. I couldn't get in. I walked around for 4 hours to get this fake ticket that I could get in. So we bought a fake ticket. I got Hell's a real ticket, and I have a fake ticket. And I knew, and we went down and looked at the seat, and there were like 15 people and cops all over Section M, row 6, seat 18. There were 45 people that bought a fake ticket that night, but I was the one that didn't go to the seat, and I wound up rocking it out with U2. You're the real thing, even better than the real thing. That's it right there. So we're going to take a break. Here is my U2 waiver welcoming U2 to RFK Stadium, 9/20/87. There you go, later on that tour. And this is my Human Rights Now ticket when I saw U2 at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, 1988. So for you U2 people, ask on the internet and you receive. And I think this is a set list from one of the, yeah, this is it. This is a set list I grabbed from the MCI Center. They were still calling it that then. In 2006. City of Blinding Lights, Vertigo, Elevation. This came off the board. So I grab stuff, and it all fits in an envelope. And at some point, I find pictures of Mike Flanagan, and they choke me up. I'm Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be showing more stuff. I'm taking all requests. What do you have? Wrestling, hockey. What else did they ask for? You want more baseball. I got a bunch of baseball stuff. You want any rock and roll? You want wrestling? All right. We'll get to all of it. I'm Nestor. He's Luke. We are WNST.net, AM 1570. And WNST Taos in Baltimore. We never stop talking stuff in Baltimore sports.